Hey, welcome to Creatives in the Spotlight. I'm the show's creator and host, Paul Hurley. Today we have Tala Moore with us. Now, Tala and I met, I guess, what was it, a couple of months back, or was it last year?
Our first time meeting was the premiere.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. So you were on set of On the Run,
Mhm.
and I was, of course, in it as well. And that's how we know each other. But you really kind of fascinated me when we met because you'd, you know, I know what it's like when you first get in the industry.
Mhm.
Everything's just so bright and great, and you just had that spark in your eye, like
Oh,
you belonged. You finally found your people,
definitely,
and I
definitely.
was like, I got to have her on the show. So
Aw.
when we saw each other at the premiere, we got the little photo op thing in front of the zombie truck. I was like, hey, you want to be on the podcast?
Aw.
So I'm glad you
I feel
came
so
and hung
honored.
out
You
with
were
us.
like a celebrity to me
Oh,
when we met
well,
because I
thank you.
had been like following you for so long. And I knew we were in the same area and in the same industry, but we had like never crossed paths.
Right.
So when we finally crossed paths, I knew you were gonna be there. I was like, I gotta say hi to Paul. Gotta meet Paul.
Well, I appreciate that. I've been in a few things, and I really like to bring folks in that are getting into the industry to kind of find out what drives you, what sparks your interest in the film industry. So you kind of briefly hit on that you started in theater,
Mhm.
right? When
I
you
did,
were
yeah.
early teens.
I was, yes. I was 11 when I
Oh
started in
wow,
theater.
11, barely double digits.
Yes.
Okay, 11 in theater, and then you got your first introduction in film when?
I was 16.
16 years old. Okay. And now you're 18 and you're doing other films as well.
Yes.
Have you got some lined up for next year?
A little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm currently working on a film called Suppress Us, and we're currently filming that one.
Okay.
So that's what I'm working on right now.
Good. Good. So, what inspired you to get into the performing arts?
Ooh. Definitely my childhood, like as a kid, watching movies.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like watching movies was definitely something that I used like to cope as a kid with like my childhood. Really interestingly, I would watch a movie and I would like picture myself as one of the characters, but not in a way of like, oh, like my life is that character's life, but
Right.
picturing myself playing a character in a movie, if that makes sense. I always thought that was like so fun. And then I wanted to be in movies and I wanted to do that for like other people as well. So
Right.
that's when I started in theater because that was like the closest thing I had to me. Um, and then also growing up, like definitely as like a young teen, had no idea how to get into like film.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I was old enough and I learned, I just stepped into that. And I remember being in my first short film and I walked onto set. We were filming in Kentucky.
Oh wow.
And I remember going home from my first day of filming and like calling my mom and just saying like this is it. Like this is what I want to do because I had always wanted to do it, but I had never done it. And I just remember feeling like this feeling in my heart like this was my passion. This was where I was meant to
That's that
be.
spark I was telling you.
Yes, yes, and that has been
And you
with
can't
me.
hide it.
Correct.
When you were
Yeah.
feeling it, living it, breathing it, it just oozes from your pores.
It was that moment that I knew like this is where I belong. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and I've never lost it.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. How did you feel the very first time you saw yourself on the big screen? When
Oh
you
my
went
God,
to
I
a premiere.
cried. I cried.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Wow.
I actually recently, I did background for
Mhm.
the movie Regretting You. And I just recently went and watched it in theaters for the first time a couple days ago, and it was my first time seeing myself on a theater screen.
Right.
And I just sat in the theater. I just like cried seeing myself just walk by Dave Franco. And it's like nothing, but to me, it's everything.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's so,
Well,
so beautiful.
I did background on The Naked Gun, and I
Mhm.
was literally this close to Liam Neeson
Mhm.
and Pam and Danny Houston
Mhm.
and Kevin Durant,
Mhm.
and I was like, "You got to be kidding me! These are all famous A-list actors that I grew up watching."
Yes.
And just for that moment,
Mhm.
it it touches you in a way that you
It
can't
really does.
explain.
It really, really does.
You know,
Even on set of Regretting You, which being on set as background is so different than being on set as like an actor.
right?
But even being on set of Regretting You, I was feeling that feeling like again.
Hmm.
And I got to meet and like talk to like McKenna Grace and like the director of it, and it's just such a beautiful feeling. Even though like I sometimes when I say it out loud, I feel like, oh, people are listening and they're like, okay, like, like
Yeah. Sometimes, do you ever kind of doubt yourself though? You
oh,
know,
of course. Oh, of course.
you get that little stage fright right before you get ready to film. Kind of get that raise in adrenaline, the heart beating.
Yeah,
You know, the
definitely.
sweaty palms. It's like, here we go.
Definitely,
You
definitely.
can't beat that. You know, I kind of call it my junk. You know,
Hmm.
I'm a junkie for that adrenaline rush, that nervousness, that feeling of uncertainty, and
Yeah.
then you just jump in and you make something beautiful out of it. And you know, to go back and watch it and see it later,
Mhm.
it's a treat.
It really is. It really, really is.
So what do you think? How do your parents really feel about you being in film?
They support me.
That's
They
awesome.
do support me. I think like as a kid, what was really hard was that I wanted to step into it instantly. I was like, Mom, like put me in commercials, put me in Stranger Things, put me in like Disney, like just all the like crazy things like as a kid. And I used to get so frustrated cuz like I felt like she wasn't doing anything like at all to like push me there.
You're not being a very good agent, Mom.
why am I not those like, those child stars who are like in huge films when they're like 5 years old, like
Right.
why is that not me? But now that I'm older, I'm very grateful for it because honestly, like it's terrifying.
Hmm.
Even like as like I'm still a teenager, but like as like an adult, it can be like so terrifying. And I think that I'm very grateful that I am wasn't put there then. But no, they're so proud of me and all that I have accomplished.
That's awesome.
Which is they're a very, very good support group.
Well, you know, you have to look at it this way. You might not have gotten into it as a child actor, but you're still very young.
Yes.
You're getting into it in the right time period. And the reason why I'm saying that is because a lot of filming is coming back to this area.
Definitely, definitely.
North Carolina and South Carolina used to really kind of hold the reins in filming for a long time, and then it moved to Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're seeing a shift. You know, a lot of people are fleeing and moving away from Atlanta and filming elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been some big studios being built.
Yes. Yes.
I think one of them's Dark Horse or something or other out in, was it Fayetteville?
I think so.
Or Wilmington one. But, you know, it's blowing up
Mm-hmm.
and we're staying busy. We're, you know, lining up work.
Definitely.
So, you know, we're doing what it is that we want to do.
Definitely.
So let me ask you this. How did you meet Isaac Stovall? You know, I've mentioned Isaac on several shows because, you know, we've worked together and I've had several people in here that have worked with him as well. And one day I'm going to have you on the show, Isaac. You know, just between me and you're going to be here. So how did you meet Isaac?
So my mother worked with someone who I believe was a zombie on isolation,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Come be an extra." But I don't even think I talked to Isaac that one day that I was like 14 or 15 years old and just there for one day. So I think the second time that I like actually met Isaac was for On the Run.
Okay.
I had an old friend of mine that I had worked with, who was very involved with On the Run, and he was like, "Do you want to come be in a TV show?" And I was like, "Duh, like of course."
Yeah.
So I went on to set 2 days, just being just a bad guy, just extra.
Mm-hmm.
And then Isaac was in need of. Isaac had this idea where I don't know if I should say it because it's in season
Yeah,
3.
watch
Isaac
out.
had an idea. Isaac had an idea, and he needed someone to act out the idea that I
Right.
can't say yet.
Right. Yeah. You got that whole NDA.
So
We're reminding Isaac, we're following the rules.
not slipping up. And so my friend, who's Aaron, he basically, I guess, just went to Isaac and was like, well, I know someone who can do it. And that was me. So Isaac reached out to me and was like, can you do this? And I was like, yeah, of course. We talked on the phone. And then I came back on the set for a third day, which was like a pretty big day because we really focused in on like what my character was doing and what happened with my character.
Mm-hmm.
So the rest is history.
That's awesome. When you do something on film, you want to talk about it.
I know.
But when you're like in a series and it's like, it hasn't even come out, but you filmed season 3 already, spoiler alert. So, but, yeah, it's hard to keep it in sometimes because you get so excited about it. You're like, oh my God, you should have seen it.
Because it was my first time ever doing a big stunt number like this.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited to like.
And I love it.
About it.
I love it when it comes to stunts. I get directors all the time say something that, hey, can you do this? Or hey, can we do this? And I'm like, yeah, you want to set me on fire? Okay.
Can I tell you a secret?
Sure.
So in the short film that I'm in right now, and I can say this, I asked permission. My character gets hit by a car and dies.
I saw that, and you had bruises on your legs. I saw the post, the BTS. I was like, girl, don't you know you're supposed to have a shin pad or something?
They were going to actually hit me, and I told them, I was like, guys, like, just hit me with the car. Like, I can do it. I've never had stunt training, and
famous last words.
I've done stunt training, and I've never done stunt training. I was just like, just hit me with the car. We can do it. And
I saw this once on a cartoon. I think I can do it. That's awesome. That's awesome. It takes a lot of guts to say, yes, hit me with the car.
I thought about it, though. Because I was like, man, I mean, I know what to do. I'll be fine.
Fall the hood, yeah.
Right? Like, how bad can it be? But now I have a really big bruise, and my body.
I know. I saw that. Oh, you will hurt days after.
But I feel good now, and I feel fine, and we did it. So,
and it looked great.
And it does.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about filming. You know the risk. That's how Isaac and I really got together.
Yeah.
He called me in as an extra.
Yes,
I was a bad guy.
Yeah.
And in my death scene, which I can talk about this because it's already out, I'm running down a hallway, and I'm supposed to get tapped in the back of the head with a bullet. Well, I'm carrying my real AR-15 and my real 9mm pistol. Now they're unloaded, and pens are out. So I'm running down this hallway, and I'm thinking to myself, I got to get hit in the back of the head, and I got to fall down with these weapons, but I got to make it look good, So when he goes bang, I kind of do my head like that, and I spring my toes.
Ooh.
So as I'm in the air, I'm twisting.
Yeah.
And I hit the ground on this shoulder. The gun's on my chest, and the pistol's in my hand. Never hit the ground.
Nice.
But I slid like 8 feet into a wall. Bam. And he was like, can you do it again?
Yes.
Yeah, why not? Oh, let me put the shoulder back. Okay. So, and I go and do it again. And he was like, oh my God, that was awesome. So the very next day he calls me and he's like, I want to put you in as a main character. Okay. Well, luckily I had my face painted and I had a beard. And everybody's like, why did you shave to be your new character? I'm like, well, I had to look different.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you go back and watch that series, I start in that episode. It's season 4, episode 13. I start in there as a bad guy, die, then come in at the end of the very same episode as my new character, even though they were filmed on different days. So
it's magic.
Yeah.
Magic of film.
I was like, there's me. I died. Oh, there's me again. So, yeah, and sometimes that's the way you get your foot in the door. You get your foot in the door as an extra or whatever. And if you impress somebody or you do, a dedicated job, like hit me with a car, you get called back and you kind of, go from there and make something out of, that possibility of what it could have been. And, you never know in film. Sometimes it's just being in the right place at the right time. Dolph Lundgren actually got his start that way.
Really?
He was dating an actress,
Mm-hmm.
and they were filming a shoot, and something happened to the main character of the film. And they were like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And the director turned and saw him and said, I want that guy.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
He was at the right place, the right time. It was his very first film, kicked off his whole career, you know? So sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Right,
You know,
yes.
and where you're at.
That's kind of why I get so excited when I do background work. Because sometimes, like, I've made a lot of friends doing background work. And I've asked them, I'm like, do you ever, like, get super excited when you see, like, who's, you know, in the crew or, like, who's the main cast in it? And most of them, almost every single one of them were like, no, not really. I don't really care. While I'm over here, like
Starstruck.
Millie Bobby Brown's
Right.
over there, or like when the director like said something to me, I'm like I get so excited, and I'm like, why does no one else feel this way?
Right. Well, you know, and it hits people different ways. And
Definitely.
when I was growing up, Pamela Anderson was like the iconic beauty, you know, and then to actually work with her on set,
Yeah.
it was like bucket list, you know.
Right.
There was. I met and worked with Pam Anderson. So
That's been so crazy. Like growing up, watching movies, I've had so many people inspire me.
right.
And then like I was in Madden with Nicolas Cage and Christian Bale, but like Christian Bale's my childhood. Like watching Newsies as a theater kid, like my childhood. And then Nicolas Cage, I recently just gone crazy over, specifically for his performance in Longlegs.
Okay.
And so
I haven't
then-
seen that one.
There I was, just like standing in the same room as them, and like I had like spoke to them once, and it was like it was my like whole world,
Yep.
and it meant a lot.
It does,
that's
you know.
just background.
And to some people, they're like, whatever. And you're like, do you not
Right.
understand? I mean,
Right.
and until you're on set and you're putting in those grueling hours and you're taking that step from one project to another and you're building your resume, you're building your brand, basically.
Yes.
Until you go through that, you really don't have the respect for it on the outside. You know, when I never had been in film up until, you know, the past 2 or 4 years. And I really never thought about it, you know, but I'd gone to events, concerts and stuff like that, and still been a little starstruck, like, oh yeah, cool, I'm at the concert, that's so-and-so, you know. But to be this close and to work with somebody that is,
because
you know.
your coworkers at that point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're there for a common goal, a common purpose to make something enjoyable, entertaining, art, you know, and to have that feeling is just, it's amazing.
Definitely.
You know? But you get a little starstruck and
Yeah.
you're like, hey,
Nothing wrong with it.
look what I did. So, but no, I get it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Tala. This is me before I get hit by a car.
All right, scene the hit, angle 2, take 3, and action.
Haley, you're my best friend, please!
Cut.
Hi, I'm Tala. This is me after I get hit by a car.
Hey, and welcome back. Tala, we were talking just briefly on our break here about some projects you're working on. Tell us a little bit about the one you're working on now, the car crash victim one.
So currently, I am working as an actress in a little film called Suppress Us. It is a horror film. This has been by far my favorite character that I've ever played. I played the character of Mallory. Without spoiling it, I go from being like a normal like high school girl who gets angry from a party to a
Something
scary
else.
person. Yeah. So I
The other end of that spectrum.
yeah. My favorite part has definitely just been transforming from like, you know, someone who is so relatable, like just a normal high school girl that you probably sit beside in math class, to an evil thing, and I really love just the transition and like the flip of that. It really,
That's called bipolarism.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Kidding. They make medication for that.
I really love it really pushes my range
Yeah.
and what I can play and who I can play. And it's a lot of fun. Stunts are a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Not
mentioned getting hit by the
CGI.
car. Now, guys, you don't understand. She didn't just get hit by the car once, because every shot you got to do from different angles,
Multiple times.
multiple takes. Yeah, that was brave.
Thank you.
So, but check out the bruises on her legs.
But we can now add stunt to my resume. So any directors who need a stunt
Road fodder,
actress.
whatever. God, well, and that's the thing on film. Sometimes you really never know what you're going to get into. I took a job on a film, didn't even read the script. Like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Playing a cop, how hard can it be? And the next thing I know, I've got a rose in my mouth. I'm dancing the tango with some other dude. And I'm like, didn't see this coming, but had a great time. I strongly recommend you get a copy of the script, or at least what your character is going to be doing.
Yes.
But in the same token, I'm kind of glad I didn't, because if I had, I probably would have saw that and went, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And then cheat myself out of the production, because now that I look back on it, I laugh. I'm probably never going to hear the end of it once it comes out, but I don't care. It was fun.
Yeah. That's actually some things that I have thought about where I'll be playing a character and they'll say or do something and I'm like, I don't like that. I would never do that. But then I'm like, but I'm not me. So
Right.
I guess I have to.
Yeah. Well, and that's, I find a lot of people that get into acting, they find it as an escape from real life, from their life, and just get to be someone else for, however long it is. I think Heath Ledger locked himself in a hotel room for months before shooting the Joker. And, that he did an amazing performance. And of course, sometimes, you can get a little too much into character. That's where you have to draw the line and be careful, know the difference. But character creating, it's fun. It can be dangerous as long as you know that I leave those characteristic traits on set. Not really a homicidal maniac outside of here, but, today only. But,
What happens on set stays on set.
There you go. It's like Vegas, only smaller. But no, it's fun. It really is. I enjoy it. Right down to the stunt scenes. I'm going to recommend you use padding from now on.
I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah. Look, I know what it's like to want to get the perfect shot. I've gone through tables, walls. It's been a wild ride, bumpy, but wild. And I never really thought, safety wise, should I be doing this? What precautions, blah, blah, blah. But then when you think about how beautiful the shot's going to look, you don't care. You're like,
that is so true. Especially when you're so in the moment and in the scene and in the character, it's like everything else is just like away.
You want it to unfold and be the writer and the director's vision.
Definitely.
Because making them happy at that point is really your main priority, because you're there to do the job. Now, you want to do it right, and you want it to look good, so you kind of throw care and concern out the window a little bit and just say, let it ride. Saw this in a cartoon, I think I can do it. But you gotta be serious, and you gotta be careful.
Definitely.
But kudos on the car crash, because that was epic. Can't wait to see in the film.
Come to the premiere.
That's right. Now, guys, if you want to follow Tala, check out her, what is it? You got Instagram?
Instagram, yes.
Check out her Instagram link here. And you got a Facebook as well?
I do. My Facebook is linked to my Instagram.
There you go. So be sure to follow Tala and watch her career blossom, because I see big things in the future for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you again for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. You're always fun to work with. And I look forward to seeing you on set again one day.
Of course. See you on set.
Sound like a plan. Guys, be sure to like and subscribe. Check us out this week and next week. We've got some things coming up you don't want to miss. Talk to you then.